sense.
Thank you. And opening the public hearing.
All right. So in front of you guys is the variance request for 1121 North Hemlock Street. The request is to place a second garage on the property where there's currently one garage already. The ordinance says that you're only allowed a second accessory building that's under 200 square feet. So this would be a variance from that portion of the ordinance. Under review by staff, based on how the ordinance defines when a variance is or could be approved, staff feels, or we feel that this would not meet the requirements of a variance request, basically because there are alternatives, and it doesn't prove that there is a necessary hardship. Now, with that said, I did not receive anything from the public that was negative about the project. And also, Karen, could you bring up that aerial photo, please? So in the aerial photo, the square in the red is his property. Since this aerial photo was taken, the house, there's a small house that's just to the south of his main house. That house has been removed, and now that's all vacant. So he must have at some point bought another lot, tore the house down, and that's what he wrote in his letter, that he had torn the house down. And so there's actually, it's a substantial lot. So in terms of impact on other properties, it's probably limited, and since we didn't hear anything from other property owners, that's probably the case that the public interest wouldn't be harmed by this project. Now, with that said, when you look kind of in a general area, most of the houses do only have one garage. And the garages are in similar size to his existing garage, or what would also be a permitted garage. Because of the size of his lot, he could be permitted all the way up to a 900 square foot garage within the means of the ordinance. But as I said before, based on what the requirements are of a variance, the ordinance states that this would not meet that requirement. But there's other circumstances that you guys may want to take into account when you're looking at this case in particular.
Yes. So just refresh my memory, because we've had one other come to us. So is this, consider action on the variance at this portion of the meeting means that are we granting either the variance or not the variance, or?
No, you're making a decision on whether to approve the variance or not, approval or denial of the variance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the variance allows him to build the garage.
Yeah, he's approved the variance, he will be allowed to build.
And I read that. So for example, the garage that he wishes to build there,
yeah,
that would be like a $30,000 building, I would guess.
I would suspect probably that would be the case. Yeah.
Okay. So in my mind, it's another way that Irwd is improving itself, because another good building that's worth about $30,000 would be going up, and we haven't heard any negative comments. So I would make the motion to approve the variance.
And we'll do that after the public hearing.
Okay.
But
So that's what I wasn't quite sure of. Do we do that now, or do we do that after?
So item 6.
Public hearing, and then we'll take it
Very good.
action.
All right, sorry, Jim, I misunderstood you.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if I did it now, if I was in favor of it or against it, if I did it now or later.
Yeah.
That's what I was unsure.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
So in that photo, it looks like there's another property south of the house, but that's been taken down, correct, or no?
I believe that this is and you can tell me if I'm wrong, this is the house that was taken down right here, correct? Correct. Yeah, so this isn't here anymore. So this is his property.
Right.
This is another part of this property here. Or there is actually another vacant lot here, I believe. But yeah, this isn't here anymore. So the garage would actually kind of go right in the same area.
Okay.
Just clarify something that really, the place that's to the south, did this person also buy that?
He bought, so these were originally 2 lots. There's a lot line right here.
Mhm.
He bought this lot. And
Oh, okay.
At his own expense, he removed this house.
Okay.
It was a dilapidated building.
So even though the picture shows a building there, it's no longer there?
Yeah, this is an area there. I couldn't find an aerial image that showed it without the building.
Okay.
Any questions.
Any other questions of Tom? Is there any public comment on this? No? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. And item 6, consider action on the variance request.
Yes. I would like to make the motion.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Motion.
Supporting the variance.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Tower to approve the variance request as described in item 4. Any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to say that it's very similar to something we did a few years ago, or an owner bought an adjacent land, or even kitty corner, and we granted that variance. And as our town is becoming a little bit more open land, I think we saw that that was a good way to approach a situation like this, was that when you're opening up a lot, an improvement does nothing but good.
Yeah, I know, and I would like to just add that, you know, you took down a structure that wasn't in the best of shape, and now you're putting something up new, and you're making an investment in our town, so very nice.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mildren.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. And now I'll call the regular meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recording of the roll again, please.
All present except for Commissioner Corcoran, who has an excused absence.
Thank you. Item C, approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Tower, seconded by Commissioner Semo to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Semo.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Item D, approval of the agenda. Any additions? Or-
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Go ahead.
Motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Tower to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And item E, to review and place on file the revenue and expenditure report. And then the cash summary report.
Thank you. Here we go. All right, thank you. So tonight I'm presenting the financials for the month ending July 31st, 2017. I was not at the last meeting, so I wanted to catch up on financials this meeting. First report is the revenue and expenditure report. Through July, we should be around 8.5–9% through our fiscal year expenditure budget, so 1 month in. At this point, there's no big variances from the budget. I'll just note some of the things as we go through, but with the general fund, I didn't have anything significant to go over tonight for July. And in the street funds, both the major and the local, I just had a note here, when you look at our drainage and backsloping budget actual, we are taking an increased effort with our ditching maintenance activity this year, something that the Department of Public Works has determined to be a necessity, something that I think we've kind of put off for a while. So we've had some increased activity there. And what we'll do is we'll just shuffle some dollars amongst the funds themselves, so within the funds themselves from other activities. So it's a conscious choice to restructure some dollars. So when we get around the budget at that time, we'll move those dollars. But in the meantime, since we budget the major and local streets And the only other note that I believe that I had on here was in the sewer fund, looking at the collection and transmission. And this is due to some manhole replacements that we did over on US 2. Good time to do it with US 2 project going on. And so that's a large amount that 1 month into the fiscal year, so I just noted that the reason for that high percentage through July. Other than that, everything's in good shape, in line with budget for the most part. If there's any questions, I can hold those down.
Any questions?
Cash report is also included. All cash balances are healthy at this point. We've had some activity in our water and sewer phase 4 projects in July, and we'll see that to continue. But other than that, all healthy cash balances.
And the library fund, that's the grant infusion maybe for the building fund?
It's where they, each year they collect donations for the building and they deposit it into this fund. So it's been a rolling, not specific to that grant, although the funds were used as a match for that grant. But the funds have always been there for those bigger building infrastructure improvements. So they have a separate kind of savings account that they annually collect donations for and put and deposit into, and that had built up to around $90,000. They used it down to match that grant. So this is the balance that it's at now. We get reimbursement for that grant, and those funds were deposited back in here for the grant portion, and then we'll continue to build until the next project.
Thank you. Is there a motion to review and place on file the 2 reports?
I'll make a motion to review and place on file the 2 reports in item E.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Sumo, seconded by Commissioner Tower to review and place on file the 2 reports as described in item E. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item F, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. Mr. Martell?
Bill Martell, 420 West Francis. Now, I'm not sure if this is an F or G section, but I was wondering if a Phase 5 water sewer project that area has been identified yet. 2, I noticed farmer construction is sealing the area north of the highway, so I was wondering if there's any money remaining in that fund, because you said that they would start repairing the south side of the highway after they were done with that. And 3, I understand you're negotiating for the gas plant payment with the EPA. So what is the starting point for that if the city of Irwd is 100% responsible for that? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda?
Not on the, yes.
On the agenda?
Not on
Oh, not on the agenda, okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Stop here, I apologize.
No, that's okay. None, so then we'll move on to item G, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, come on. Come on up and
I'm sorry. I've never done this before, I apologize.
come up to the podium and please state your name and address.
Sure, no problem. I forgot what I had written down. My name is Dolores Remendini. I live at 519 Bundy Street in Irwd. I've lived here for approximately a year now. And I guess my concern right now is the neighbors that I have are, I feel, are harassing me. They call me, "Hi, old lady. Hey, old lady, take your meds. Old lady, take some, go to bed at 9 o'clock. Whatever. The kids are down. Hi, old lady. Hi, old lady." I contacted the police department about this. Whatever. I didn't get it. A couple of people don't like me there, but I don't know what to do. I don't, their dog keeps coming in my yard. I called animal control. They did come, but actually I'm afraid of what's going to happen. The kids in the neighborhood go up and down the street, screaming and yelling and crushing. Anyway, Sergeant, I will not mention his name, officer, whatever, came to me after this lady across next to me said, "Oh, it's okay, that kids make noise, it's okay." And I'm sorry, I didn't bring what I was planning to do, I lost it. He came to me and said, "Well, kids make noise." I said, "Well, any suggestions you can give me?" He said, "Move." That was his suggestion to me. Okay, he made up his decision before he even came to me and talked to me about anything happened. And I don't know that, I've had help from Mr. Seymour helping before, and I apologize. No, they made me out to be this horrible person. I have lived there. Okay, a few things, okay. I was born and raised here, I went to school here. GCC, my ex, not that it matters, was, my ex-relative was the sheriff of Iron County, Michigan. I know actually a couple of deputies here. I won't mention names, I shouldn't have that as another fact. But I feel that these people are harassing me. They call me old lady. I am. I'm 65 years old. I just had to die. You're dead. I'm sorry, but I did. They're across the street. Hi, old lady. Oh, you're an old lady. Go to bed at 9 o'clock. Hey, you call your dog into my yard. And that's why she comes right there. It's not true. These people, I don't know. Where do I go? Because I'm looking for where do I go? I'm sorry I came to you guys, but I don't know where to go with this. I feel this harassment. I don't know where to go. I'm sorry. I'm not inconsistent. I'm sorry.
Mrs. Remendini, what was your, Mrs. Remendini?
Yes?
Could you repeat your street number, address, Bundy?
519 Bundy!
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah. There's.
So we've got our contact information, and I think this, again, if there's some harassment issues, that type of thing, we'll, take further, discussion with our public safety department, see what options we do have, and we can meet with Mrs. Remendini to, try to go over what those options might be.
Okay.
So I think that'd be the best, step.
Okay. Thank you for coming, Mrs. Remendini.
I'm sorry, I'm not a mean person.
No.
I apologize. I don't know where to go. Anyway, go ahead. I have my 3 minutes plus. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you. Any other citizens wishing to address the commission? Yes, Mr. Martell.
Just one more question on reformer construction for the ceiling north of the highway. Where exactly in the budget is this money coming from? I believe the number is over $250,000. So thank you again.
Any other citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda? No more. Moving on to new business. Item H, discuss and consider adopting resolution number 017-029, scheduling a public hearing on Monday, September 25th at 5:25 p.m. to hear comment on a blight violation at 225 East Harding Avenue.
Yes, we'd like to schedule a public hearing on 225 East Harding Avenue. There has been a van there that was unlicensed for a long time, and there's actually been more vehicles since we started the process this summer that are unlicensed there. There was some debris outside. I'm not sure if it's still outside or not. I think it's in front of the vehicles. So I have spoke with both the renter and the owner of the property. So they're both aware of this, and I've talked to them. They tell me the vehicle will be moved, but we want to keep the process going until they are.
I'll make a motion, we schedule a hearing as described in item H. Approve that resolution.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, seconded by Commissioner Mildren, to approve the resolution to schedule a public hearing as described in item H. Any other discussion, questions? Roll call vote, please.
Tower.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Thank you. Item I, consider approval of rural development pay package in the amount of $25,503 for the City of Ironwood Phase 3 Utility Project Sewer Portion, final payment to Tunnel Vision Pipeline Services, and authorize the mayor to sign all applicable documents.
Thank you. This would be the last part of our Phase 3 work that needed to get done. Up on Poplar Street, there was a little section of sanitary line that needed to be lined from the inside as it went under a garage. So we were waiting for this diligently. The City Commission had previously approved the work to get completed. That work has been completed. And again, that finalizes the work under Phase 3.
I'll make a motion, I missed something here. Are we doing the pay package for 25,000 Tunnel Vision? And is that what
Yes.
that was?
That's what that was, yes.
That was part of
Correct.
Phase 3?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah, I
was.
see it, I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's okay.
I was looking at the next item, I got them
Okay.
mixed up, Phase 3. I'll make a motion, we approve the pay package in item I.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, seconded by Commissioner Tower, to approve the pay package as described in item I. Any other questions, discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Mildren.
Yes.
Seymour.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. Item J, consider approval of resolution number 017-031, a resolution to close contracts with Rutzela Construction LLC, Michigan Department of Transportation, and Coleman Engineering, and make final payment to Tunnel Vision Pipeline Services for construction of the City of Ironwood's Phase 3 utility project.
Thank you. Again, this is Phase 3. This basically is a requirement of USDA rural development through the funding agency. And it's a resolution that basically says the project is complete. It identifies, the costs associated with the project. And I'd like to thank the mayor for pointing out a discrepancy in the cost. That was a nice catch. There was a calculation that was incorrect that has been corrected with the new resolution that is in front of you. The tunnel, as I understand, the Tunnel Vision amount was subtracted instead of added. Did I have that right? So they made that correction, and the numbers will identify the final cost associated with this project.
I would like to move that we approve the resolution 17-031 as described in item J.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Mildren, seconded by Commissioner Seymour, to approve the resolution as described in item J. Any other comments, questions?
The amended resolution,
Oh,
correct?
yes, thank you. The amended resolution. Roll call vote, please.
Seymour.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Mildren.
Yes.
Virgil.
Yes. And item K, the manager's report.
All right, just a few items to highlight, then I'll highlight it or try to answer some of the questions Mr. Martell had. Just one thing to point out, we bring this up every time, and it's, I guess we can never say it enough, but, again, our community volunteers, our city staff members, and just the individuals in our community that do so much for us are what really, I think, set us apart. And you look at all the different things that are going on, and we're probably redundant, but I don't think we can say that enough, because it is huge, and I think it's what sets us aside from, other communities of our size and our limited budgets, and I think we see a lot of things getting done because of that, so, yes.
I'd like to add something to that we don't always say, is that our area community businesses are amazing in their support of all these events. And I think we need to recognize the businesses as well.
Absolutely.
And we're knocking on their doors constantly.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yes, they are. Thank you. And I was going to point out we had Randy sitting over here that, I don't know if you know, Randy does a lot for the theater, and he just happened to step out, but he's one of those unsung heroes that are just out there doing their thing. They don't take, any credit for any of it, but they're out there just working their arms off on behalf of the city, so I think he's a very good example of that if you know Randy. By popular demand, I think at the last meeting, the City Commission asked about the first Fridays, and I think there were going to be 3 of them. That was a test type of process. That was being undertaken, and there's such a good response, Tom. I think that you're expanding them to October?
Yeah, October 6th, and then the Friday, for sure the Friday before Jack Frost.
Okay.
On Saturday, so that first Friday. I think it's December 2nd, I'm not positive about that. But, and then we're kind of considering doing one in November, just because why stop 1 month, you know? There's just 1 month in between, so we are considering that as well at this point.
All right. And I want to thank, our Community Development Office and all the others that help with that, because it is a big undertaking, and it seems like it just happened, but there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that make that happen. So it is nice to see that, and they've been very well received. And again, with that, our downtown banners, as you saw, that was just a little part of it at the last time, and some of the banners went up, some of the rest, there's more banners to go up, so it'll be a real nice addition to the improvements that are being done down there right now, the paving. So you'll see some more banners popping up to extend, down the light poles toward Hurley and down the light poles as you go to US 2. And again, to throw a shout out for our DPW, they're always involved in everything we do, so we want to, again, thank them for being involved. They're behind the scenes too, and really do make a lot of this happen behind the scenes. And again, you don't see a lot of what they're doing, but they're there doing it. Our Phase 4 water and sewer project, we touched on that a little bit. It's moving forward. Ritzel Construction is continuing on with the sewer and water work. Sutherland Street has essentially been complete with the utilities. Now they'll be rebuilding the street. Hopefully they get a few days of nice dry weather that dries things out so they can get the streets put back together. And they're continuing on up to Washington Street now. So again, things are moving along well there. They also are doing some work out on the 16-inch water main in preparation for that. They're not actually installing it yet, but underneath the railroad tracks, they have to jack a large pipe so the water main can go into that in the future when they actually get out there digging. So I think they're out, Bob, starting?
They started this morning and started digging. I'm not sure if they completed the project. I doubt it, but they're out there now. Okay, so it's just prepping that, so when they do come out and dig and install the main, they'll be ready to, slide that water main under the railroad tracks. So you'll see some activity out that way. We also are going to be having a ribbon cutting here coming this Friday, and it'll be at 4:30 p.m. on the top of Mount Zion. Again, there's been a lot of improvements up there, the deck, some new benches, if you see the new benches that were put up there, the paving, just a lot of cleanup work, and a lot of people involved in that across the board, volunteers, funding, the whole thing. So again, that's going to be this Friday at 4:30, so everybody who can attend it is invited to attend. And again, we're doing it later in the season because my understanding is the class of 57 is having their reunion this weekend, and they were a big part of the donation effort that made that deck happen up there. So everybody's invited to come up, and rain or shine, we're going to do a ribbon cutting. So. And after that, make sure to stop down and attend the Depot Farmers Market. That's every Friday. And again, they've been having a great turnout down there, and great vendors and good music, so go down there and take a look if you get a chance. Just touching base, keep it on the radar, the Little League group is still continuing forward, again, with a lot of different volunteer efforts to help them get their building up. So again, they're still plugging away at that. I don't know if they'll be fully completed this year, might probably extend into next year, I would think, with the building construction, Bob. Hopefully, the shell and the roof will be ready this year.
Okay, before snowfall and then...
And more volunteers for that.
Yes. They definitely could use some additional volunteer help. Again, the kids come a long way and they still have a long way to go. So. Project-wise, had mentioned our crack seal project. That's underway. We have foreigner asphalt sealers in town, and they're real focusing north of US 2. Again, it's something we want to hopefully budget for every year. Now that our roads are in decent to good shape, we want to maintain the roads, and a big part of that is crack sealing. Every road develops a crack. It's just what happens when you have freezing and thawing going on. And if you don't seal that crack, water gets in there, freezes, and then you start breaking the road apart. So the crack sealing is a preventative maintenance technique to seal those cracks and eliminate the water or reduce the ability for the water to get into the subgrade of the roadbed and cause, damage. So again, we focused north of US 2. I think the project was around $150,000, give or take a little bit, in that ballpark. I'd have to go back and double check. Again, you can't do the whole community at once, so we're looking at phasing it, and you really want them to concentrate in one area.
Then next year, we'll have them do another area and hopefully just continue going around the community. And again, you're never done doing that, so once you make a whole cycle, you're probably back resealing the streets that you did, 7, 8 years ago. But it's very important, it's a very cost-effective way to maintain the roads. Just another effort, again, coordination with community development, public works and others. With our Iron Bell Trail going through town, one of the efforts is to do additional spur loops. So each community is focusing on doing it as you come in to ride the trail. What else can you do as you're going from here to Besmer? So Ironwood is doing a spur loop up to Mount Zion will be the spot, and there'll be these confidence markers put up. So people will know how to get up there, and then they can come back. So they'll follow these markers up there. There'll be a marker at the trailhead, and just another way to have another experience for the people that are either in the community or coming out from outside the community that want to ride the trail and look at what else we have in the community to offer. So we're doing it for Mount Zion. I believe Besmer is doing it. Maybe I've heard for their Bluffview Park. And they're working on that end, and hopefully as it goes to Ramsey and Wakefield, they'll have all these little spurs to just enhance that whole experience that people have as they come to town to ride our beautiful trail. And so again, real nice effort, and these will be going up probably in the next month and a half or so. Again, there's a lot of irons in the fire, so you'll see these pop up sometime before snow falls. And it's nice having, I'll just say a shout out to Rapid Graphics, talk about businesses. They can crank these things out and we get these beautiful custom signs that, they make at a very affordable cost for us. So
Nice.
it's great to have that option.
Scott,
Yeah.
you just mentioned about the Health Foundation is thinking that.
Yeah, if you would.
The Health Foundation is the main sponsor of that project, and they've done a substantial amount of funding to make it happen.
So they have mini grants, which are just phenomenal. And
They currently have 4 of them a year. This is the very first round that we applied for.
yes, thanks, Tom. And just a little bit of the schedule on the paving on the business road going through town. As you see, they milled the street last week. What they're doing this week is they intend to pave 1 lane all the way through from Hurley out to US 2. They should have that done today. Tomorrow, they'll be prepping the other lane, which is basically cleaning it, getting it ready for paving, and then Wednesday paving that 2nd lane through. So by Wednesday, the whole main line hopefully should be paved out, and then they can let traffic back on it. And then they'll be paving after that, all the connector streets. And that's real kind of tedious work. We have a lot of cross streets that come in there, so all the intersection work. So as of Wednesday, the main line should be done, and then Thursday, Friday, they'll be doing the connector streets. So again, disruption to everybody in the community and the downtown businesses, but again, a real nice improvement, and it's just something we'll get through and have a really nice road surface for many years to come after that.
When will Lowell Street be, those 3 sections that are milled out, when will those get done?
That'll be done, yeah. We asked them exactly, they didn't give us an exact date. What they'll do is as their mainline paving, that's their main focus right now. And as they start doing the cross streets, then it's a different, smaller paver, and they'll go in and they'll catch those other patches over on Lowell Street.
Okay.
So, again, their connector streets are looking at Thursday, Friday. Again, if it rains, it might go into next week, but somewhere later this week, early next week, that should get done too. Because that's, definitely something to be aware of. And
They're kind of abrupt little drops, and there's
Right.
3 in a row, and they're
Right.
not, I mean, I know there's big barrels on the side of the road, but still,
Right.
pretty abrupt little.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no easy way to do that either,
Yeah.
but, right, just to make sure people are aware and take it easy going through there. Right, Karen?
Yes.
Right. So, and we are going to have our cleanup day, city cleanup day on Saturday, October 7th. That's where people can drop stuff off over on Air Street. So that's our fall effort, and that's going to be from 8 to 11 a.m. So we invite anybody that wants to get rid of stuff to attend, or anybody that wants to volunteer to come out and help unload cars.
And have there been, is there any updates on the oil gas plant area and how that negotiation is going? Just
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, the gas plant, again, that's down in the flats, down by Pizza King Joe, kind of back in that area over by Farner Excavating. That was cleaned up a couple years ago. The EPA came in, and the EPA, federal EPA with the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality, the state level environmental organization, cleaned that site up. And again, their cost was roughly in the $3 million mark, I believe, somewhere in that area. I don't have the exact number. In theory, that could be our obligation. Again, as we talk to the EPA folks, they go through and do what's called an ability to pay analysis, which means they look at all of our financial ability and what can we repay. Again, talking with them, they've been supportive and working with us to try to keep that number as low as possible. You know, we don't know what it would be. We've talked in the past, maybe $20,000. I hate to throw numbers out there because I don't know yet. They're going through, I'm assuming with the new administration at the federal level, they're looking at, you know, reevaluating costs. So they're running a new ability to pay analysis, and we don't know where they're going to come back at. So it could be anywhere from, I'll say, $3 million to maybe $20,000. And we actually don't know until they run their analysis and give us their response to that. So we're hoping it's on the lower end. That's kind of the direction we've talked to them about, but we can't tell you for sure at this point. And I think Mr. Martell had the Phase 5 water and sewer, where's our next water and sewer project going to go? And you'll be seeing that information coming out. We actually were going to have a workshop tonight to go over that. We had a SAW grant. It was a grant through the state that analyzed our whole sewer system, and that's going to help direct us where our next phase 5, 6, and 7 could potentially be going forward, where the needs are. So again, that document's pretty robust, and it's a lot of information in there. So at the next meeting, I'm anticipating we'll have a workshop on that, kind of unveil those findings that they come across with that study, and look at those next phases. And again, those next phases will be probably the next 10 to 15 years worth of work for the city. It all depends on finances, budgets, and funding available. But it will at least give us a roadmap on where we're going to go with our next phases. And I just wanted to point out too, some of the activities. Again, some people, again, I guess if you're looking for things to do, you can find them. And just this past weekend, just as one example, they had the mountain bike race out in Copper Peak. Not that you have to mountain bike or race, but you can go out and watch some of those events. They're a lot of fun for spectators too. Very well done, very quality event. So it was nice to see that coming to our area. It's not right in Irwd, but we're all part of that effort to make those things happen. And then there was a long-standing marathon on Sunday Lake. I don't know if you know, there's been a marathon there for years. Jim Ingle from Wakefield has hosted that, and it's kind of low-key, but if you know about it, people show up, and they come from all over to do that. And we had another new event on Saturday. It was a lighted bike parade that was put on, and I think they had 25 to 30 participants, and hopefully those will grow. And again, that's just in one weekend. So again, if you're looking for things to do, it seems like pretty much every weekend there's always something going on in the area, whether it be in Irwd or one of our adjacent communities. So again, to look for that, and I will say there's an effort which I think will help highlight some of these things on that website, Tom?
Yeah, community calendar.
Yeah, can you touch on that? I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a joint effort between Iron County and
the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, it's actually taking the old Happy Live Life site, I don't know if you guys remember that from the Next Generation Initiative, that website, and converting it to a community calendar. And the website is pretty close to being finished. We're kind of going through the last parts of that, and then we'll go through the outreach portion where we'll start reaching out to organizations and groups to start populating that calendar. So we're hoping that we'll become a centralized calendar for the whole region. And so every group will have one single place to go, and so all websites and Facebook pages will reference that calendar as their calendar. That's what our hope is.
Just one question on that, because for those of us, we look to bring activities into Irwd and work towards those activities. So the Chamber of Commerce was always where you could see some things, but not all of them. And then the Visitors Bureau was another, and then the ones you've mentioned now, and the city of Irwd itself. So will all of those entities be linked to that?
Hopefully, yes.
Hopefully, yes.
I mean, you gotta have buy-in, to have that happen. But the idea is that everybody would be involved with this calendar. It's gonna take a little bit of time after we get buy-in, but I think once we do the initial recruiting and people see that it's getting tracked with it, then it'll be a pretty simple process. for people
Sure.
to participate.
You know, just a few years back, there were activities and you would look forward to them for time period. Now we have activities every weekend, and you have to have that community
Right.
calendar of activities just because they're so varied and there's so many, and it's a wonderful thing for our area. So, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Actually, I was wondering if there'd be a kids calendar as part of this effort?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's a bunch of different categories that you can search by category, and that may be one of the categories, or you can search by date. There's all different ways to search the calendar, so.
Because people are missing out on events for kids all the time because they just don't know about them. And I was speaking to two young mothers at the Depot Park in August, and they talked about the lack of this calendar. And I asked them if they knew about the soccer startup, and they didn't. And I asked them if they knew about the Prairie Fire Children's Theater, and they also didn't know about that. So there's clearly a need for this kind of a thing. So I'm glad to see that happening.
And hopefully the way this, I believe is going to be successful, because a lot of calendars get started and you don't have the manpower to keep them up, right? So this is really going to be a community calendar where you have to populate it from your group, right, Don?
Yeah.
So if you have events, it's not going to be Tom, it's not going to be the chamber trying to sit there and, it's a full-time job doing that. It's going to be getting the word out this calendar exists and letting the soccer club know, put your events out here.
Right.
Letting the city know, put your events out here, And I think that's where it's going to be successful in getting those organizations to, upload that information to the calendar. And then it's not the burden of one person, and that's usually where we've seen it fall apart in the past. So hopefully this will be a very successful effort. So.
Glad to see it, though.
That's the end of my report.
Is that it?
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Any other matters?
Well, I just love to say again, as a downtown business person who's been here, that seeing those streets being redone again, it's wonderful. And, all of the activities, they go on and on and on, but our infrastructure improvements are matching those activities, so thank you all for working hard on that.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Support?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to adjourn at 6:10. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
You're a short term.